Hello and welcome to TIPSY VP, episode 12 February 2019, a weekly show where we share tips and tricks on how to improve your social media. TIPSY VP is brought to you by Virtual Peddlers Marketing, the digital marketing agency that helps small businesses go digital. This week's weekly Tipsy, converting social media approach from data to content and idea. The biggest controversial topic in social media sphere since last year has always been the collection of private information, user private information without consent. Although Facebook and Google were the major ones being penalized by this in the US and in Europe, there are many other companies out there who are doing this without us knowing. All they have to do is insert a little cookie into your browser. Usually Chrome. If you use Firefox, less so because Firefox is more anonymous, more protected. But let's say if you use Chrome, which most of us use, they can see where you go, what you do, and how long you are there using their cookie. The reality is actually a lot scarier than you imagine. There is an app, there is a platform called Hotjar that by inserting a cookie, they can actually heat map your whatever you do in a website, like how much you click, where you see how long you're there, and how far you scroll down, and they can tag you to an IP, which is usually your IP. So, and that's the free version. God knows what else the paid version can do.
They'll help you identify, study. The pressure is how like, okay, he pressed very, very long means got yao some wanna buy.
Maybe. So the question now is that although obtaining user data without consent is still legal, the legality is still very grey, but we all know definitely for sure that ethically is uncool, right?
Yep.
Your audience, like if you are an audience, you won't want a brand who will suddenly contact you, and immediately knows everything about you,
including
start to
what
contact
colour.
you, which we actually had an experience with another service provider, a marketing service provider, just last month. Where they contacted us, and I felt a bit uneasy, but I was fine because we are in the business. But imagine if we are a consumer. If I was a consumer, I would immediately block that person, that company, and I will blacklist that company right off the bat because it is unethical. I don't like for people to do this.
Yeah. It's like imagine McDonald's you call, hey, I know you're gonna purchase this prosperity burger now.
Exactly.
Let me send it to you.
Exactly. Oh no, like I'm gonna purchase it now. Would you like fries that go with it?
No,
20% off.
I already know you always often order large fries.
Exactly,
with less sauce.
And you always order Milo instead of Coke. Would you like to try this drink? You get profiled by how you use something, and the reason why one of the reasons why data is not a good investment in social media and digital marketing is it's the content that is all this collection of user data that is uncool and people don't like, and it's bad for branding. It really is bad for branding. People may use you, but they don't like you. Number two is that governments all over the world are starting to step up to prevent collection of personal information without permission. Some are even stopping it from happening even without requests for permission or not, which means that, let's say there is one part that specifically says that in order for you to collect information, you need to let the users know, and the users must choose whether or not to give you the information. And if they choose not to give you information, you still will be required to give them the service. There is another layer that says that you completely cannot take information from people.
No need to even ask.
Because if the information requiring that whole button yes or no falls into the hands of the consumer, companies can twist and turn the sentence in such a way that it means something but it's not.
Or they may return like the user behavior to let people easily press yes.
Yes, or maybe the yes button is bigger than the no button. This kind of stuff. Or they will keep popping up the window until you say yes.
Make sure the frequency is unlimited.
So it becomes a grey area. So some governments are even saying that they're suggesting to just completely outright disable this thing. So it is actually during these times that brands like Apple, that takes a very strong stand against collecting our data, are starting to look very good in the eyes of the consumer. And we think it's about time other brands will start telling the same story as well. So the question now is, from the branding point of view, from the digital marketing point of view, right? If we don't collect people's information, how do we reach out to our audience?
I guess it's just the same like dating loan. You know, you want to reach out to the right one.
Yeah.
You know, it's you just
You
need to
imagine-
market yourself.
You imagine if you go on your first date, right? And that person, and then when you talk about yourself, and that person on the other side is like, oh yeah, I know. I stalked you on Instagram. Oh yeah, I know. Your Facebook says this. Oh yeah, I know where you're from. I know what you like to eat. Or I know at which age you fell down and you got a scar on your somewhere or something like that.
That is so ethically uncool.
It is ethically uncool. It's not illegal per se, but it is ethically uncool.
Yeah.
So how do we do this? Is by brands doing what we have always done since the dawn of time before the internet, to actually create content and ideas.
Yep.
Brands like New York Times and Netflix, they are leading the way by creating original content that is only accessible via subscription. So how this happens is that you don't see Netflix going out and profiling you and then serving you ads for movies that they have, like specific movies that they have all around and everything, and try to entice you. What Netflix is doing is they create a paywall, right? So outside people cannot actually see it unless you take the free trial, which is kind of a commitment. But what they do is they create original content that is only available in Netflix, that is so compelling that it becomes a meme, like Bird Box. It becomes a challenge. And because of that, people want to watch it. Then you have the whole Marie Kondo
Sparking
viral
joy.
thing that's going on, sparking joy everywhere, which is quite nicely done. And you have news articles, journalists talking about a lot of stuff like the Fire Festival and how Netflix is talking about it. What does it mean? And it makes people want to watch stuff from Netflix. So it is true actually creating content and ideas that get people to want, that has the awareness, that want to sign up to your subscription.
Yep.
And there are also marketing companies that are starting podcasts and YouTube channels to share content. There is one article that I read about, I think it was JP Morgan Chase, that is taking the role, adopting the style of The Economist, where The Economist talks about the world's economy. JP Morgan Chase is talking about the world's finance scene, finance issues, what's going on, the monetary policies, financial stuff. It would be very interesting if, let's say, a local bank, like
Maybank.
like Maybank, let's say, they start to teach us how to do money management,
Or how to return PTPTN.
how to return PTPTN loans, how to return car loans, how to take loans for car, and how to take loans for house, what kind of requirements that you need.
Or based on the statistic they have, let's say the data they have inside Maybank, or what are the rates of people having credits and loan, and why this issue happened.
Yes, and let's say, for example, I just heard from someone that said that in Malaysia, credit card is a bigger service than personal loans. But in Indonesia, personal loan is bigger than credit card. So
Why is there a difference?
yeah, what is the difference, right? We know that personal loans, the interest for personal loan is lower than credit card.
Correct.
But credit card is more flexible than personal loan, right? But we also know that there is this thing where if someone is stuck with a very high credit limit and it's difficult for them to pay back because the interest rate is very high, is it possible for them to take a personal loan and offset the credit card and then transfer your interest from the credit card interest to a personal loan interest, which is a lot lower than a credit card interest?
Correct.
It is this kind of education that helps.
Credit transfer kind
Credit
of issue,
transferring, and is this kind of education that helps people. And I think if banks like Maybank takes up the content role and the idea role in social media and digital marketing, they're able to create the kind of awareness and loyalty that a lot of other advertisement can never reach.
Yeah, correct. That's true. Because they have solid solid data and information.
Yeah.
Because they are from the bank industry and Maybank. So, people will really listen to them and
Exactly,
do the right thing.
exactly.
And even follow them in future or even sign up for their services just because.
Just because it's Maybank,
Yeah.
just because Maybank is the one that taught me how to manage my money, so I will go to Maybank.
Because
right?
I trust Maybank.
Because I trust Maybank. And Maybank has been using this tagline humanizing banking for the longest time, but I don't think they have ever been humanizing any part of banking.
Slowly, they humanize the image really.
They humanize the image,
the
yeah.
website. But I haven't felt the heartbeat yet.
Yeah, yes,
It's
neither have I.
it's
Neither have
still
I.
in the embryo stage.
Yeah, they are still a very cold system bank right now.
Yeah.
So what we're saying is storytelling is the way forward to lead branding. We're not saying data is not useful. Data is useful. Tech, like VR, AR, data, AIs, all these things are very useful, but they have to be accompanied with storytelling in order to create value, in order to create ideas, to become somewhat of a media platform as well, in order to reach out to people. It's not just to get all the data and then do cold calls and then do sales, do promotion, do advertisement. These things won't get us anywhere. It's not good.
Please tell this to your bosses.
Yeah, please tell this to your bosses. So the gist of this week's weekly Tipsy is that the way moving forward for social media and digital marketing is to change your approach from a big data driven, like you get data and then sell ads to people or promote to people, to a content and idea driven, in the sense that you educate people, you become a community person for your target audience, so that you build the awareness, you build the loyalty, and you build a community that will come and use you
Yep, correct.
for their service. Right, this is Tipsy VP Podcast, is part of Social Media Weekly, and it's available on Anchor FM, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and more. Our full videos are available on YouTube, and we post bits and clips on Instagram and Facebook. This is Tipsy VP episode 12, February 2019. My name is Sean.
And I'm JK.
Au revoir!
Sayonara.